the Cascade Mountains of Washington, the Navy opens the world's largest radio transmitter. Its 1 million watts can flash a message around the world in a tenth of a second. General David Sarnoff of RCA congratulates Admiral Carney, Chief of Naval Operations. And old Marconi operator himself, the General sends the first message using the type key on which he relayed the Titanic disaster messages. A ship or installation anywhere on the globe can be instantly reached from Radio Jim Creek, as the station is known. Answering messages begin coming in over the station's teletype. Built at a cost of $14 million, the station embodies the last word in radio transmission and is a giant step forward in the Navy's network of communications.
I'm Raymond Massey, and I have a special message for senior citizens. Today's doctors, drugs, and medical devices truly work medical miracles for young and old alike. But there are some as phony as a $3 bill. Like this Zeret applicator, for example, which is claimed to cure arthritis with Z-rays. There are no Z-rays. This fake device claimed to cure cancer with tape-recorded music. The practitioner who used it was as big a phony as his device. A doorbell doctor sold this food supplement to treat 42 diseases. It has nothing of value that's not contained in the food you buy at your supermarket. Investigate before you invest in health services or products. Help stamp out quackery.
This has been a public service announcement from the Food and Drug Administration in cooperation with this station.
What a game. I was great. I mean, I was really great. Now, where have you been, Francis? I've been looking for you everywhere. I searched high and low, and hither and yon, and a lot of those wild places. At the game, Cornelius. This is Saturday, you know. Well, of course I know. I know all that. This is the day I'm having the Grand Opera Club for dinner. Uh-oh. I forgot. I'll bet you did. Well, I just hope there's enough time left to practice our manners, because our manners do need some practicing. Oh, not manners again. You make manners sound like a bowl of soggy cereal. Ugh. Manners are what's the word I'm searching for here? Just the way things are supposed to be done. Now hurry up and get ready, would you? And don't forget the hat. Oh, not the top hat. Francis, you look fine. Stunning. Cornelius, this is ridiculous. You don't have to dress up for manners. I mean, especially in an outfit like this. Now, no more arguments. Now, let's get started. This is important. And you'll go first, because you're the biggest. Oh, Here, you want a biscuit? Francis. Oh, all right. Yes, quite. Would you care for a biscuit, old thing? Thank you. Oh, no. Thank you. Oh, no. Thank you. Do you or do you not want a biscuit, Cornelius? Well, yes, I do. But after you. Oh, no. After you, I'm sure. No, please go ahead. Nah, I can't stand it. Has it occurred to you, at this rate, we may never get to eat again? By golly, you're right, Francis. But I thought this is what you're supposed to do when you got manners. The manners aren't just a bunch of rules. They are ways to get along with other people. What did you say? I said ways to get along. How did you do that? How did he do that? Did you say that? I saw that. How did he do it? Do what? As I was saying, getting along is what it's all about. Working together to get things done. There it is again. That's remarkable. Can I see that one again? Cornelius, I know someone who can tell us more about manners. Oh, yeah? Who? One of the guys on the team. Charlie. You know, he eats lunch at the school cafeteria. What does that got to do with manners? Well, he told me that many kids eat together. Hundreds of them. If they didn't have manners, no one would get to eat. I see. Well, that certainly makes sense. You know, I think I've got it. And what are you doing? What do you got? I will be a newspaper reporter. See my cute little outfit? Now we're going to go interview your friend and find out just what he knows about manners. This should be educational. Okay, let's go. You always have to make such a big deal of things, Cornelius. There he is, over there by the swing. Hey, Charlie. Hey, Charlie.
Hey, Francis, what's up?
Manners.
Manners?
Sure. What can you tell us about manners?
Well, to me, manners means getting along.
See, Cornelius, I told you.
Like not cutting in line at lunch. That's manners.
Well, yeah, that makes sense. What else?
Well, why don't you ask my friend?
Oh, manners? That's just being fair to the people I'm with.
Like at lunch. After I eat, I throw out my trash. The table is clean for the next kid.
I eat my food instead of throwing it around. That's manners.
Instead of yelling and screaming, I talk in a normal voice. That way we all may get a chance to talk.
Manners, it's not that complicated. Let someone sit at your table, even if you don't know them real well.
Hey, it's lunchtime, everybody! Come on!
Hey, it's lunchtime already. Oh, good. Let's follow and watch. Where did Charlie and the gang go? I can't see hide nor hair of them. They must be washing their hands, Cornelius. You, yes. Here they come now. They're getting in line. Getting in line, eh? Well, that makes a lot of sense. It's neat, too. Sure. It'd be a real mess if everyone tried to get lunch at the same time. Well, it couldn't be done. Well, so far, so good. Everyone has his food and a place to sit with plenty of room. Uh-oh, a problem. Here comes a girl who wants to sit down. Where they gonna go put her? Easy enough. Well, maybe this is what manners are all about. I think so, Cornelius. See, they're enjoying their lunch. There's no food flying in the air, no yelling and screaming, no kicking. It makes sense to me. They all have a chance to eat lunch and also to talk. It's a very nice situation. Uh-oh, she dropped her milk carton. Hey, but she's picking it up. Bravo. Now the next person won't have to sit down at the table cluttered with trash. Wait a minute. Where are they going? To the trash barrel, I bet you. Look, they throw the trash out and then give the trays and dishes to the dishwasher. That's certainly a nice bunch of kids. What a system. All these people get to eat at one time and enjoy their lunch, too. Now, that's a nice way to do things. Cornelius, we couldn't even get around to passing the biscuits. You know, I'm beginning to understand what manners are all about. They really are just simple things you agree to do. Well, like I said, right? There are ways to get along and get things done. Francis, I have to know. Now, how do you do that with the lights? It's driving me crazy. What are you talking about? Come on, Cornelius. Let's get this opera party over with. Now, wait a minute. You're going too fast for me. Did you see that? Did you see that? Did you people see that? Did you kids see that? How did he do that? He must be done with mirrors. Maybe he's got some up his sleeve. Let's search this stuff.
You're watching Sleepcore. Sleep tight.
The following program is from NET, the National Educational Television Network.
The National Educational Television Network presents Regional Report, a program of fact and comment by NET reporters throughout the country. Today's subject, From Pot to Psychedelics. Now, here is the national editor of Regional Report, Paul Niven.
Good evening. The pot and psychedelic cult, whatever else it may be, is new and different. Unlike the nihilist beatniks of a few years back, today's LSD cultists say that they are turned on, not turned off. And if they talk of dropping out, they do so because they reject square society and claim they can build a better one. The psychedelic people are not in the historic pattern of dope addiction. Their drugs are so-called head drugs, ranging from such natural substances as marijuana and hashish to LSD and other artificial concoctions. These head drugs are not physically addictive, as are such body drugs as opium, heroin, and alcohol. An LSD enthusiast will inveigh against liquor as fervently as a 19th century temperance crusader. But some doctors and scientists claim that pot and LSD not only can lead to addictive drugs, but can be dangerous in themselves. In the next hour, we'll hear many sides of the controversy from 8 American cities. First, the city which has been identified with so many new movements and is now the preeminent home of the hippies, San Francisco.
Free! I'm free! We're not slaves! We're not slaves! I haven't got a dirty heart, I'm a clean bean! Bless your dirty heart! You talk about freedom with no responsibility! You talk about love and no obligation! You get fined! You turn on when you get fined! You get Jesus Christ and you turn on! You have turned society off and the world off! You need Christ and turn on! Thank God I've been turned off! I'm turned on and tuned in!
In California, marijuana arrests among juveniles were up 140% last year. 25,000 adults were arrested for taking illegal drugs. Despite stricter enforcement, more rigid laws, and more rigid attitudes on the part of the courts, the use of drugs in California is increasing, both on and off the campus. In the past 7 years, marijuana arrests have increased by 248%. Dangerous drug arrests, including LSD, are up 84%. Why? More people are using drugs: LSD, marijuana, tobacco, and alcohol. Tobacco causes cancer. Alcohol, taken to excess, damages the brain and kidneys. They are legal, marijuana and LSD are not. I am Mel Wax, KQED in San Francisco. Here in San Francisco and in nearby Berkeley, in fraternity and sorority houses, marijuana is used both by conforming students and by student rebels. It is used by hippies in the Haight-Ashbury district. It is smoked in cigarettes, pipes, Turkish hookahs. It is sprinkled on salads, used as seasoning in soup, and mixed in chocolate chip cookies, even in the imposing Victorian homes of Pacific Heights.
Well, there's a physiological effect and there's a psychological effect. It seems to speed up their blood count. The pupil of the eye becomes dilated. The white of the eye becomes bloodshot. The person then becomes intoxicated. Their moods or their feelings are exaggerated. People that use marijuana have a tendency to be gregarious, and they do it in the company of each other.
Matthew O'Connor is a former undercover narcotics agent who is now in charge of the San Francisco office of the California State Bureau of Narcotics Enforcement.
The exaggerated mood of the gay atmosphere of the party seems to exist. If they have had any feeling at all toward nonconformity, it will manifest itself under the influence of the drug. So that if the group or if the individual feels a tendency to be promiscuous in sex, any reservations that they had about it are dropped while under the influence of the drug. This is particularly true in the case of marijuana. This is a kilo brick of marijuana. It's 2 2/10 pounds, and we were paying $225 in 1965 per kilo. This is a portion of a kilo now. We're paying $80 a kilo in 1967.
I can't see anything wrong with it at all. I know it's not physically harmful, and I never put the drug down. The drug, I couldn't call it a drug. It's just a weed because people call it a weed. It's put here on God's planet. It's put here for everybody.
There is a large supply, and it's the old situation of supply and demand. These are marijuana cigarettes. They're frequently referred to as joints, reefers, sticks.
Oh. Are you stealing my red fire?
They smoke it in a pipe, then they also drink it as a tea. They wash the seeds and the stems and some of the marijuana material in wine, and then consume the wine with the view that the alcohol is...
Gin? No, it's not in gin.
Wash the cannabinol, the cannabis resin, from the leaves and simply drink the wine for the same effect.
Mixing your media.
Marijuana is not a narcotic. Its basic effects are roughly comparable to the effects of average doses of alcohol. The reasons why so many people, young people, are turning to these drugs are in part the same reasons why so many people of the older generation turn to drugs: to escape, to find relaxation with alcohol, nicotine, sedatives, stimulants, tranquilizers, to relieve boredom and monotony, to socialize with other people.
Dr. Joel Ford has been director of the Center for Special Problems of the San Francisco Department of Public Health.
A reaction to the hypocrisy that they find in the older generation and in the American value structure, a feeling of alienation or disaffiliation from the broader society, and curiosity about the effects of drugs, often magical expectations that they will do something wonderful for them. We need to look at the roots of these problems, trying to understand why so many people in our society cannot exist without using drugs or feel that they can't.
The spread of marijuana has now convinced me that on first convictions they should serve some time in the county jail and then be placed on probation.
Francis McCarty is a Superior Court judge in San Francisco County.
From the ones I have seen, they are not from broken homes or deprived families or poverty families. They're from good families, from stable families. The last group, one of them was the son of a university professor. They're seeking something that they cannot find. What it is, I don't know. Basically, it is a medical problem as to the users. I'm not talking about sellers, rather than a penal one. And I think these people are sick, and I think these people should be treated compassionately and at the same time made to realize that these offenses, that is marijuana and hard narcotics, are felonies.
Forget those days. Having too good a time.
My criticism is that the penalties after the first offense are horrendous and far too severe. The penalties are greater for a second and third use of matters of this kind than rape and murder and other felonies. Let me give you an example. It's possible, given 2 misdemeanor convictions of possession of a marijuana cigarette in the past when it was a misdemeanor, for a person for the possession of 1 codeine pill without a prescription to serve 15 years in the state prison. The adult authority cannot parole him, and the court cannot grant probation. Now, when you figure the average second-degree murderer serves 5 years and 9 months, it doesn't seem to be a proper thing.
As far as our laws are concerned, I would think that we should do away with all penalties regarding marijuana.
Jerome H. Skolnick is a sociologist of law who teaches at the University of California and does research at the Center for the Study of Law and Society. He is the author of Justice Without Trial.
I think that one of the most serious problems in our criminal law is the attempt to control things that people do on a voluntary basis as a general matter, and this is especially true with respect to marijuana. It's as much of a failure as the attempt to control prohibition through, to control the use of beverage alcohol through prohibition was. As far as our medical policy is concerned, I would say that the medical people in general, well, they vary, but let's take the best of them. They have tried to be objective. And their objectivity has, curiously enough, I think, led to a kind of falsification of the nature of marijuana use. They might describe the effects of marijuana use, for example, in such terms as adrenal activity or pulse rate or heart rate. Well, look at it this way. Suppose you had somebody who had never played a game of tennis, and he was asked what the effects of playing tennis were. Well, one way you could describe them is to say that after you play tennis, there's marked adrenal activity, there's a heightened pulse rate, there's facial flushing, there's sweating. Sometimes it's followed by dizziness and nausea, and sometimes even people die. That is to say, you could paint a horrible clinical portrait of a tennis game, which would not be false, you see, in the specific terms in which it's written, but it would be terribly misleading. And I think that much the same thing has been done with respect to the use of marijuana, for example.
This is liquid LSD, lysergic acid diethylamide. It has rather a blue cast to it. This is placed in either sugar cubes or tablets or capsules. These were seized here locally in the Bay Area. Here is a piece of candy. We assume that the LSD was put in liquid solution and drops were placed on a portion of the candy so that an individual would have pieces of candy in his pocket or sugar tablets. And the LSD would only be on one side and not discernible to the cursory examination by anybody, including a police officer.
There's a big difference between being inside and outside. Outside trips are sort of sufficient unto themselves. But when you're outside, I mean, you're sort of isolated on one hand, and you're part of something else which is altogether different. You're part of all the whole thing that's around you, particularly if you're someplace like up in the hills. And there was a heightened sense of color, sense of design, particularly design, picking up patterns in everything, picking up patterns in nature. Just the vaguest sense of being part of something that's a whole lot larger than one person or a whole body of people.
It's beautiful. And I've taken them, and I've had nothing but beautiful things happen to me ever since. And I'm much happier now, and much freer, and I love everybody.
Oh, it's been a beautiful experience the past year since I first tried LSD. It's opened my mind to accepting the different people that turn on to the different drugs, and I haven't seen any harm in any of them. I've given each one of them, you know, a little bit of my time, and it's so easy to just love everybody.
None of these mind-altering drugs has a uniform, consistent effect on people, whether you're talking about alcohol or LSD or marijuana. Therefore, the drug itself would not make people more loving or friendly, or, for that matter, more aggressive or antisocial. What happens is the drug interacts with the personality or character structure of the person taking the drug and the social setting or context in which it's taken. And it's this combination of things that we loosely call the drug effect. So depending on the already existing attitudes and values of the person taking the drug, it could have many different effects. Some people would become, let's say, more loving. Others would become less loving. Some would have a possibly beneficial experience. Others would have a possibly harmful experience.
I would assume that LSD, like many other biotics or chemicals, will have many very fine and efficacious uses for the benefit of mankind. I would say that that's probably a certainty. But it is as dangerous, more so, than dynamite or a nuclear bomb. And it shouldn't be used except under the closest supervision of the most competent authorities. Research is what is needed here.
Clearly, here, as elsewhere, there is disagreement both on the dangers and possible benefits of marijuana, LSD, and other drugs. There is disagreement about how to cope with them, whether they are legal, medical, or social problems, or even whether they are problems. All agree that the use of drugs is increasing in all segments of society, but particularly among the young and among the students. Much more must be known about the effects of these drugs on the body and on the mind.
You're watching Sleepcore, media for insomnia.
Do you know it's 2 o'clock?
Yeah, I know. I got all messed up.
Does Ronnie have a license? What, is his father used to having him get home at 2 o'clock? Do you have any grass? Take any pills? And who were the girls at the party?
Answer him. Man, you must have rocks in your head. He doesn't want to hear answers. He just wants to scream at me. How do I know why? Like, maybe it's his liver. My mother always says he's drinking too much. By the time I got in, like 2 o'clock, he'd had plenty. Been watching the Late Show, too. Maybe that's it. Maybe one of those old Paul Newman flicks about the new generation of wild boys. You know, the cat who lives it up and falls into the hands of the mafia in the last reel. He really believes what he sees on the idiot box. He doesn't have idea number one about me. Like, what I'm really like.
What bothers me most is the way he just stands there and looks at me when I'm talking to him. You know, as though I'm a record he's heard 100 times. No expression, no reaction, except maybe once in a while a pained look, like the needle is going over the scratch. You never know what he hears.
He hears everything.
Or what's penetrating that thick skull of his.
He's not stupid.
Oh, that story he made up last night was a masterpiece. It sounded like it came straight out of a comic book. He claims he started to come home at 11:30. But his friend Ronnie wanted to stay a few minutes longer. Well, at 12:30, when he finally decided to come home alone, he'd missed the bus. And of course, he had no money for a taxi. After all, he only gets $10 a week allowance. Do you know for $10 when I was his age? That's what I earned for 20 hours hard work at Bolte's Market.
Yes, Kenneth, I know.
So he couldn't take a taxi. Well, why didn't he telephone?
What could happen? I'm grounded, of course, until further notice. Who cares? So I miss a lousy flick. Big deal. Want to go swimming this afternoon? No, only at night. In the daytime, I'm a free man. How about tomorrow, then? Okay. Meet at the Johnsons at 10. It's better for me tomorrow, too. I better stick around today so we can hate me.
Then, of course, Ronnie had to drop his girlfriend off. And that seems to have taken an hour. Of course, Ken doesn't know exactly because he says he waited in the car and fell asleep. You know, if I ever heard a cock and bull story.
Maybe it's the truth.
Yeah, maybe I'm the president of the United States. And after all, there's only one phone in the whole town. And he couldn't borrow the taxi money from one of 10 friends because he couldn't have used his bike in the first place.
He says only little kids use bikes at night.
So, of course, he had to go home with Ronnie because Ronnie's 16 and he can drive. Of course, Ronnie can't get out of the 10th grade by the time he's 16. You know, why, of all the kids in the school, he has to pick the dirtiest, with the longest hair, and the most disreputable clothes? I'll never know. You know, can you imagine the girls who were at that party, whose parents let them stroll in at 2 o'clock?
Who else is he going to yell at? Pick up the books, turn down the record player, mow the lawn, get a haircut. Don't talk to me in that tone.
Children don't have a sense of time.
Yeah. Well, that's why I gave him a watch for Christmas. It's in his dresser, he says. Broken, of course, like everything else I spend money on. You know, when I gave it to him, He promised he would be in by midnight. You know, there would be no more excuses. I just can't trust him.
I just can't trust him. He makes promises and doesn't keep them. He was going to build a family room for me to entertain my friends in. We were going to spend the summer making a trip out to the West. Although I must admit, I'm glad he blew that one. Imagine being with him 24 hours a day. It's like he's always mad at me.
He's always mad at me, you know, like I owe him something and I'm not delivering. And if he'd only smile at me or say something civil. The only line he seems to know is, Dad, can I have a little money? He gives me nothing but trouble.
He gives me nothing but trouble. I just don't dig him.
I just don't understand him.
How about trying some dives?
Nah, I don't feel like it.
What's the matter with you today?
Nothing's the matter.
Oh, you don't kid me, man. Something's bugging you.
I'm all right.
I'm the one who should be complaining. After what I took yesterday, you'd think it killed him to stay up till 2 o'clock waiting for me.
So? Maybe he was tired.
Well, then what's all this junk about worrying about me? It's himself he's worried about. That's why I have to be in by 12.
Well, if he had a rough day or something.
Yeah, rough. Pushing papers around all day. So let him go to sleep.
They read this stuff in the papers about kids having accidents. They think all kids are the same. Besides, it didn't cost you anything.
What do you mean?
My allowance was cut to nothing for the rest of the summer.
What did you do?
I didn't do anything. My father turned the sprinkler on in the rose bed, and his new camera got ruined. He found it yesterday.
What was the camera doing in the rose bed?
I was trying to shoot some bees with a long lens. When my mother called me for lunch, I put it down on a rock. You see, I was going to get some more shots when the light changed. I forgot all about it.
So what happened?
It's all my fault, of course, even if he turned the water on.
What did he say?
Oh, stop. You know the lines. No respect for property, no responsibility. The camera will have to go back to the shop. It might cost $100 and I'll have to pay for it. I'm neglectful. I'm a jerk. I'm a mess. I'm hopeless. So I'm dead.
But your father, I'm surprised. He doesn't seem like that in the store. He's been kind of nice to me. Last week I broke an earthenware planter. $7.95, and he just said, never mind, forget it.
He would have said something very different if it was me. The noise would have scared the mice out of the store.
Funny, I was thinking just Saturday about what a nice guy he is. You can talk to him even. Not like my father. He was telling me all about heating units and heat convection currents.
Yeah, he's great on heat. Especially under his collar.
No, you gotta believe it. He really seems like a nice guy to me. Maybe fathers are different to their own kids.
Yeah.
Maybe they don't treat them the same. Maybe even my father.
You know I'm forgetting something. Light bulbs, batteries. I'll remember on the way home.
Well, that'll be $9.81 with tax. You.
Hey, I meant to ask you, how's Ken doing? Is he giving you much trouble?
Trouble? Not at all. That's a fine boy you've got. He's got a great head for figures, too.
My kid? What do you mean?
Well, you know, I started him in the stockroom at first, assorting merchandise. Then I discovered that he could check invoices. Well, in no time at all, he began to learn the cost control system.
Well,
that's right. I've got him in the office working now. He's doing a great job.
You know, no wonder I haven't seen him around here. I've been in here on Saturdays.
I thought he would have told you. I even gave him a little raise. Help him buy that guitar he wants.
Guitar?
Oh, well, maybe I shouldn't have mentioned it. But that's what Ken is really working for this summer. He mentioned he had a fight with you about money. Didn't want to ask you to pay for it.
Well, that is, we didn't exactly have an argument about money, but you know kids these days. One day they're dying for something, the next day they've forgotten all about it.
Sure, but Ken seems different. He's serious and reliable. He gets in here on time, and he isn't too hurried to leave at night. You know, he's the first kid I've had in years that I could really trust. I had my own boy working here last year. It was more trouble than it was worth.
Absolutely amazing. Carson down at the hardware store was telling me about Ken. Says he's got a good head for figures. Says he's the best kid he ever had working for him. I could hardly believe my ears.
Ma, call a doctor. Get an ambulance.
What's the matter? Are you hurt?
No, it's Ronnie. I think he's cut his finger off.
Well, where is he?
Hurry, Ma. He's bleeding terrible.
Now, you better call Dr. Raines. Oh, boy. All right, now, Ronnie, hold your hand up. Good. Good. Keep your head down. Don't look at the cut. All right, now, you feel how I'm holding your arm?
Yeah.
Can you hold it that way? Good. Ken, get a blanket. That's going to be all right. I've seen worse. Okay, Ken, put the blanket around him. Feel like I'm back in the medical corps. All right, now turn around, Ronnie. All right, now keep the hand up. Keep the hand up. All right, how do you feel?
Okay.
You think you can go in the house?
I think so.
All right, let's take it easy. Mom, open the door.
You're watching Sleepcore. Pleasant dreams.
You missed. Aim too quick. Turn the truck around. I get another shot at it. Right. They're getting set for another shot at us. Get going.
Going to be a serious problem organizing any system of defense against those ray guns.
It's practically impossible unless we build ray guns of our own.
We can't do that without lunarium as a base for the atom reaction.
That's right. So if it meets with your approval, I'll make another trip to the moon and try to get a supply of lunarium.
Do you think you can do it?
I'm not sure, but it's worth trying. Anything is better than sitting here like tin ducks in a shooting gallery.
I heartily agree. If you're willing to make the attempt, you can certainly have permission. How soon can you start?
Right away. The rocket ship is all fueled and ready. Joan, phone Hank and tell him to get the jets warmed up. We leave right away. I want to get started before there's any chance of the news leaking out, so Reddick won't be laying for us when we get there.
So, boys, that's it. Hope this trip is as easy as your last one.
Thanks. It should be.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Goodbye, sir.
Hiya, folks. Here we go again. Oh, Hank. All set?
Anytime now.
Safety belts fastened. Fire pilot jets. Fire main jets. We're at full speed, Hank. Set a course for the moon. Right. Take over here, will you, Ted? We're just about here. We ought to be down in another 2 hours. I can see the city now. We don't want to get too close, so swing west, Hank, and head for that same canyon. Okay. We're almost to the canyon now. Okay, I'll take her down. All right, set her down.
Sure you don't want me to go along?
No, not this time. This is just a scouting trip to try to find where they keep the lunarium.
How do you expect to do that?
Well, if I'm lucky, I'll be able to capture one of the moon men and get some information out of him. Want me to cut off your air again?
No. No.
Where is the lunarium stored?
I will tell you.
Think I'll pass? Sure, you'll pass all right if that joker told the truth. He wasn't in any position to lie very well. No, it's just lucky I picked on one of the men who guard the lunarium. If we're going to get there in time for you to take his place, we better hurry. It's a little after 9. I'll go right in. You find a place to hide and watch for me to come out. Okay.
About time you got here.
I was delayed. Got it. Yes. It's so heavy, it's going to take us a week to lug it back to the ship. Get out of sight, quick. Come on.
Patrol number 6 reporting. That is all. Very well. This is patrol number 6. Somebody stole my car. Send another one quickly.
How's the fuel pressure? Seems okay.
Make all the speed you can. There he is. Let's try for a near miss. That might stop it.
What was that? A ray gun blast. See what's behind us. There's another car chasing us. We better use our gun. We'll have to turn around to do it. There's a bunch of rocks ahead that'll give us some shelter. We'll wait until we get there.
He's heading for some rocks. We'll have to stop him.
That's our feed pressure line. We're stuck. I'll say we are. Pressure's down to nothing. I can fix this if I have time. Fly out and try to stop them with your grenades. Okay.
Stop behind a rock. But I think I can blast him.